Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Golic and Wingo with you on a Friday morning. Glad you are here with us on ESPN Radio or watching on ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Coming up a little later on in this show, on this hour, Mike Vrabel, Titans head coach, will join us. We'll get Howie Long, Pro Football Hall of Famer, in the next hour. And Bob Harig will join us, our ESPN golf analyst, to talk about what he saw out of Tiger Woods' return, which I thought went about as well as you could possibly go.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that.
We'll get into that a little bit later. We're also going to grill Golic a little bit later.
Yes.
So send in some of your tweets at hashtag grill Golic, and we will have some of those for you. In fact, you want to do that right now?
Why don't we do some of those? Why don't you grill me a little bit? I'm hungry.
Let's start a little grill Golic. Do we have a thing for grill Golic or no? No, not really. All right, sorry.
Seriously? We have nothing for grill Golic.
We'll just do this.
Nothing.
That's it. That's you.
All right.
And by the way, if you don't like that, I'd just like to say,
I've made a huge mistake.
There you go. That's the other one. All right, here we go. Grill Golic questions. You ready? Right. Robert wants to know, what is more enjoyable for you to eat? One gigantic donut or lots of little donuts? Hard-hitting ones right off the top.
Wow. So from a health standpoint, well, I guess it's tough to say that word and donuts, but at least
yeah, that was perfect. Just so people understand, from a health perspective, pause, it's hard to say that when I'm talking about donuts.
But you'll understand when I say it this way.
Okay.
With the little donuts, you can stop at some point, and they're little donuts, you can just stop. You can have a few and not eat them all. A big donut, to me, is a challenge. I can't eat like half a big donut and then stop.
No, you did eat 36 once.
Of the mini donuts. Yeah. It's just like a beer. I can't leave a beer with any in it. I have to finish them. So if I'm eating a big donut, I have to eat the whole thing, which is probably the way I would go. I would feel challenged at an oversized, large donut to eat the whole thing. So I will go with gigantic donut.
By the way, whenever I see the words little donuts together, all I think of is that great John Belushi sketch from Saturday Night Live where he's an Olympic athlete. And I logged a lot of miles for that day and downed a lot of little chocolate donuts.
Little chocolate was so good.
With a cigarette in his hand, by the way.
Good.
Belushi was so great. He would have been 69, I think, last week or something. Man. Unbelievable. Okay, we continue. Ron wants to know, at Grill Golic, Oscar nominations came out this week. What was the best movie you saw?
When I saw Logan, I thought it was really, really, really
I thought
good.
I couldn't enjoy Logan because I hadn't seen all the other ones, but people tell me, no, that's not true.
I really liked Logan a lot. I did like, of the ones that are nominated, I saw Get Out. I saw Dunkirk. I liked Lady Bird. I saw that one. Out of the ones I saw, I liked Lady Bird the best, but I have not seen all of them yet. But Logan, as far as one, I did like that one a lot.
I loved Get Out. I loved
You
Get
did?
Out.
I didn't really dig it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I thought I was going to like it better, but I didn't.
You know why? I saw it early, and there hadn't been a lot of hype about it and talk about it, so I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
What is going on here?
It was pretty wild when trying to, because we all sit at movies trying to figure out what direction it's going to go until that aha moment.
The worst part about this, and you can appreciate this, had a giant soda in there, so I had to leave and go to the bathroom for a minute. I left at the moment when you find out exactly what's happening.
Really?
And I was like, what did I miss? And my son looked at me and was like, you left at the worst.
There's an app. There's an app, like a pee app.
Run Pee.
Run Pee, is that what it is?
Yeah, it was started by Carson Palmer's younger brother, Jordan Palmer.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, you can go to this app and it'll tell you the moments during a movie that you can run to the bathroom. Yeah. And you won't miss anything. You could have used it there.
I really could have used it there.
Way to go. Good job.
I did love that movie. Oh, hey, look what I found.
What?
It's time to grill Golic.
It's heating up a little bit.
With Golic and Wingo.
Say you feel better?
Yeah, I do.
There you go.
I do. Right. See who I had to punch after the show.
Not me. Steve wants to know, which NFL Pro Bowl skills event would you have been the best at?
I mean, you look at them, the talent competition, again, won by Justin Tucker for singing Ave Maria. I can't sing. Well, I can sing, but not like he sang.
Right.
And no chance. I can't play an instrument.
There are notes that would come out of your mouth.
Yeah. So there's dodgeball, kick-tack-toe, best hands, gridiron, gauntlet, precision passing. I'd have to stick with dodgeball just because that really kind of, hands, you're thinking more receivers and stuff. kick-tack-toe, the set of skills with your feet. Dodgeball, nobody's really used to playing dodgeball. So I think I would go into that and try and blend in with everybody else in that one. So I'd say dodgeball. And plus, just because
How would you blend in?
I want to blend in with the other people who don't normally play dodgeball.
So you would hide behind them?
No, I don't mean blend in. Blend in with their talents. Like if I go into the best hands competition, I'm not blending in. I'm the guy with the worst hands or the best hands. I go into dodgeball. All these guys have never played dodgeball, so we're all kind of hopefully the same type of...
But they're all faster than you.
It's not all about speed.
What is it about that?
Duck, dodge. What are the other ones?
And can you catch?
You
just said you have the worst hands. You got to catch the dodgeball to get somebody out.
I can catch a dodgeball. I was a tight end in high school. Yeah, I can catch.
And you did pick off Troy Aikman once.
And I 3 interceptions, my friend.
3?
3.
Who were the other 2 against?
The other 2 were against Don Majkowski.
The Magic Man?
Magic Man and Jim Everett.
Okay.
There you go.
So
picked them all off, and they all tackled me.
That was where I was going next.
Yeah.
You know what, though? You did it.
Whatever.
You did it.
Whatever.
Donovan wants to know, Golic, you always talk about retiring in Arizona. Would you consider being Herm Edwards' defensive coordinator?
Listen, I would love to coach. I would. I don't know if after all the time of doing all of this, I would want to go into something that full-time of like a D coordinator.
You'd just like to be a part-time coach?
No, like a D coordinator.
Water guy?
Yeah, I would, let me put it this way.
Water bottle coach.
I'd like to go help somewhere. You know what I would like to do? Quite honestly, I would like to go help out at a high school.
You know what you would be great at?
What?
The get-back coach. Wouldn't he be the great get-back coach? This holding people back. Remember those coaches on the sidelines? Those coaches are grinding out their field. You're the one pulling them back to make sure they don't get a penalty.
You're an idiot. Okay?
Why?
Because that's not coaching.
Well,
okay?
He's on the staff.
No.
You said you didn't want a full-time gig. It seemed to play to your strengths.
I just said I'd like to help out a high school. That's what I would like to do.
I'd already moved on to the idea of...
You'd already shut me out.
I've already moved on to the idea of you being the... Because some of those coaches are and the idea of you pulling them back, you could snap them back.
I couldn't do that because I was always someone getting yelled at to get back, so I couldn't be yelling at everybody.
Then you would be correcting your own issues.
No, wouldn't want to do it. Would not want that job because you know what that coach is? Hated.
Yes,
okay?
That's true.
I don't want to go into something where I'm hated.
Or he's loved because he keeps the team from getting a penalty.
No, he's hated by the players.
By the players.
I don't want to be hated by the players.
Okay, so we got Twitter questions, #Grill Golic. You can also call us at 860-506-5505 and leave your Grill Golic question. That's 860-506-5505. We have some of those.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Hey, Golic, who would win in a fight, a gorilla-sized chicken or a chicken-sized gorilla?
A gorilla-sized chicken or a chicken-sized gorilla?
This one's obvious.
I would go with the gorilla-sized chicken.
No. Yes, you would. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, the size it's turning into.
This is a math. This is a physics problem.
Yeah,
this is a physics problem.
Bigger would be better there. I think.
I would agree.
Right?
I would agree.
Yeah.
We got time for one more?
Yeah, do another
one more. You want to do? Your choice. You want to do an email or you want to do Twitter?
No, I want to do
voicemail or Twitter.
Voicemail.
Voicemail. All right, here we go. Another one.
Morning, guys. What is the one thing that will allow the impossible to happen? And by that, I mean letting the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Patriots on next Sunday. The only thing I can think of is if Tom Brady doesn't eat enough avocado ice cream. So let me know. Thanks, guys.
I agree with Dan Quinn. It's line play.
Yeah.
I go right up to the guys up front, how well that Philly O-line is playing, and Fletcher Cox on that interior defensive line. Now, they have other really good D linemen as well. I don't want to sell them short, but I absolutely agree that this is a line of scrimmage game. Can the O-line control it and the D-line get pressure? Again, Jacksonville got 3 sacks, but New England adjusted. They chipped the ends, and Jacksonville did not adjust to that. So they were basically rushing with 2 rushers on the inside. One of the few times they blitz with Myles Jack, he gets a great shot on Tom Brady. They didn't do that enough. New England adjusted. Jacksonville didn't. And the one thing I love about Philly attacks. They attack.
And to that point, that's what you have to do. I think if there's anything we've learned over the last couple of years, and I've talked about this with a lot of Eagles fans over the last week, if you're going to beat the Patriots, you have to finish them. You have to finish them. You cannot miss opportunities. Ask the Falcons. Ask the Jaguars. You can't on 3rd and 1 give up a strip sack with a 16-point lead with 7.5 minutes to play. You can't, when you're up by 10 in the 4th quarter, allow them a 3rd and 18. Because the Patriots are not going to beat themselves.
No.
That's the one thing I can guarantee you. They are not going to beat themselves. What you have to do is sweep the leg.
Yeah.
You have to go total Cobra Kai on these guys.
You do.
You
exactly
can't
right.
give them an ounce. You can't give them a sniff. You can't give them a hope because the strip sack in the Super Bowl gave them life. Tom Brady said it. We played it this week. When they converted that 3rd and 18, it was like, we can do this.
Yep.
And once you give them life, they will suck the life out of you, and they will destroy and crush your spirit.
Yeah, and listen, Jim Schwartz, the D coordinator, is going to try and put pressure on Tom Brady. He's not just going to be satisfied with a 4-man rush unless it's getting home, but when New England adjusted like they did to Jacksonville, Jacksonville didn't do anything to adjust back.
You have to take away their hope. That's what you have to do.
Sweep the leg.
Otherwise,
do you have a problem with that?
Otherwise, no, not at all. Otherwise, they're going to do that to you. All right, Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We just went dark there.
Yeah, we did.
I mean,
well, no, that's what he says to him. Do you have a problem with that?
Exactly. Cobra Kai. We're getting you set. We got Mike Vrabel coming up in just a little bit. By the way, and I've said this before, and we'll ask Mike about this, Vrabes has one of the greatest statistical lines in the history of sports. As a linebacker, 12 catches, 12 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Twice in the Super Bowl.
Is he the greatest non-receiver receiver ever?
He better be, and he better claim that when he comes on the show.
Claim the title.
So you take the title, hold up the belt, Vrabes. By the way, we will also want to know what are your odd statistical things in sports that you find fascinating. I'll give you another one, okay?
Okay.
Stan Musial, Hall of Fame baseball player.
Right.
Stan the man.
All right.
Career hits, 3,630. 1,815 at home, 1,815 on the road.
Really?
He was the same guy whether he was playing in his home park or wherever.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's the picture of consistency. Right
okay,
there.
So those are kind of the statistics you're looking for.
So if there's a weird stat that you like and you think is pretty cool, hit us up on our social feed at Golic and Wingo and hashtag weird stat that I like or just weird stat. Our researcher Brett will make sure all of these are correct, by the way, before we put them out there. But there are those kind of things like the Super Bowl one with Chris Long and LeGarrette Blount maybe doubling that club of back-to-back Super Bowls with two different teams. So send those up to us.
I like that.
Yeah, those are good.
I like that. I still can't believe you want me to be a get-back coach.
Well, why not? You're good. You'd be good at it. You pull those guys
what,
back.
in all truthfulness, I would really like to do, in all honesty. Now, I would like to help out high schools. Like you know what I think I could be good at? A, from the college side, I think I would be good to be on the committee. Mm-hmm. Okay. And B, for the NFL, I think I'd be a good scout. I would love to be a scout. Because I love going to watch the players.
Well, you like the OLDL drills at the Senior Bowl, and I like the linebackers, and they were just doing linebackers, running backs, and tight ends, wide receivers, DBs. I love all that. I definitely think I could break down players pretty well. But would you like to do that? Because I think you said you wanted a part. Like scouting is a full-time thing, man. You're on the road. You're doing all this stuff. Would you want to do that?
Well, scouting full time. I mean, it's only during the season. Yeah. I mean, as far as traveling. You can't watch anybody go play, in March.
I still think you should be a get-back coach.
I'm not going to be a get-back coach.
He would be the greatest get-back coach.
Not going to be a
get-back coaches.
Let me try this. Get back!
Okay, done. We'll get back on schedule. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Let's do What's Trending. And I guess we'll find out, Mike, if this is actually going to be trending.
Okay.
The XFL is coming back, although it's in no way, shape, or form like the old XFL. It couldn't be less like the old XFL except for the letters, the XFL, if you believe Vince McMahon. The WWE founder and chairman said the league will feature 8 teams, play a 10-week schedule, but he wouldn't say how they're going to do it. He wouldn't say when they're going to do it. He wouldn't say any specifics, and it's going to be in 2 years. So what do we really think is going to happen?
Well, again, it's completely different from the XFL we saw for the 1 year, which came out of the gate. The first week a game had a rating of 10, the second of 4, and then after that it was basically nothing. The LA Extreme, I think, was the team that won the first and only championship, quarterbacked by Tommy Maddox. And they're going completely the opposite. None of the cheerleaders, none of the crazy violence and names and things like that. It's going to be straight football. For one, I hope it works because I don't think there are enough opportunity for the amount of football players to play football to have a chance to play football, and this would give that to them. But there are many questions on whether it be successful or not. A lot, though, while he says it's not a feeder league to the NFL, a lot of the guys in that league playing will be trying to get to the NFL or get back to the NFL they were once in and not in anymore. There's so many questions, Trey. Again, it would be February to April, so it's not interfering with the NFL season, but you have the medical side of it, facility side of it. There's a lot to look at, union side of it, about how it would all work. I think giving themselves 2 years this time as opposed to 1 year the last time, that in 1 year sounds like a long time, but when you're setting up something like this, I think the product
are a nightmare.
Was rushed out there. So now I think twofold. You have time to really set it up how you want it to give it a fair chance of working, or you realize in that time period, you know what? This isn't going to work, and it never really gets off the ground.
Right. I still don't have a TV partner.
I think it's a fair question. Is it more percentage right now that it's successful or even starts?
I agree.
Right out of the gate. But I, for one, I hope it works just for, as I said, more opportunities. Again, 10 teams, 40 players. You do the math. It's 400 opportunities for people to play, 400 players to play more football. So I dig that.
Again, 40-man roster, one of the things they said is going to be safer. A smaller roster doesn't sound to me like it's going to be safer.
There are a lot of things to wonder about in this. A 2-minute window, how you doing that? You're right, no marketing or TV partners now. A lot of questions to be asked that he didn't have the answers to now because maybe he doesn't have the answers to right now. And I think that's why the 2 years is some time to, okay, let's see where we can go with this if it even get off the ground.
Look, and we both want it to succeed.
Yes, we do.
Because we like football and we like to see players have an opportunity. Yep. We're just skeptical that it actually can or will
very much so
at some point. Staying with what's trending, approximately 400 Super Bowl prop bets have been posted in Las Vegas. And people, make sure we understand what prop bets are.
Right.
They have nothing to do with the actual outcome of the game. It's all weird things that may or may not happen.
This is how long over under on the time of the national anthem being
coin
sung.
Flip, heads or tails.
Flip, the dress someone is wearing. Right. Or I mean, that's what this is.
Most points in a quarter.
The one of the best crossover ones right now is gold medals the U.S. gets in the Winter Olympics and total points of the first quarter. So let me spell that out a little for you. In the Sochi Olympics in 2014 in Russia, the U.S. got 9 gold medals. So what it would be is if there were 9 gold medals, total points scored in the first quarter of the Super Bowl, above or below 9. And remember, the New England Patriots in the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady era of all their Super Bowls have never scored in the first quarter. Nope. That's a great prop bet.
It is a really
great bet.
Or just will the Patriots score in the fourth quarter?
I just love that bet. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. By the way, the Olympics would not end in Pyeongchang until February 25th. So you have to wait a while.
You got to wait a little while.
But that's a good one, though.
I completely agree.
You're just hoping for points.
Yes.
You want to see a donut up there in the points column.
Unless you pick the Olympics and you're hoping for medals. Then you're watching the Olympics maybe you wouldn't have watched just to see our Americans win gold.
That would be good.
Yeah,
that would be good. All right, we continue. Tiger Woods back. By the way, I shot a 72 at the Farmers Open, and it's funny as we're doing this right now. I'm watching the highlight on ESPN where he almost had a hole-in-one, one of his best shots on the day. Even par 72, his first official PGA Tour event since this event a year ago. And, it was level par, and I think steady is the best word to describe what we saw out of him yesterday.
Yeah, he had 19 putts inside 5 feet. He had 12 putts outside of 10 feet. Nothing in the 6 to 10 range. So for those 12, he was
irons off.
Doing a lot of lag putting, but driving average 299 yards. He was hitting the ball well there. You mentioned the irons. I thought, listen, I think if you said, hey, your first round back, Tiger, you're shooting even. And not a crazy double bogey here,
right.
3 par or 3 birdies, 3 bogeys. Nothing crazy, too crazy. This is you're going to shoot for the first round. I think you take that.
Totally
I think you would take that. The main thing you would take is walking off that course, not being in pain. Man, if you watch Jason Day play, holy smokes, tough. Watching him bend down, his back looked horrible, and we've seen Tiger go through that. So it's feeling pain-free after that, getting up this morning being pain-free. Those are the key things for Tiger, and then you go to his play.
Yeah, look, he was steady, and having been away from it so long, you just want to be on an even keel. And once you sort of get a feel and get into the tournament and playing tournament golf, then you're like, okay, we can maybe dial it up a little bit here. That was the best thing. The best things that I saw from him. One, it was a steady performance. He didn't have the two-way miss. The two-way miss is the death for any professional golfer because then you're trying to figure out, okay, what am I correcting because it's missing left and right. His misses were essentially right. There was one weird sequence where he hit the driver and he immediately let go of the club. And then it was like 290 down the middle. So that one flummoxed him completely.
I'd love that mistake.
That would be terrible, right? I'd hate to be doing that every time. But the push to the right seemed to be his miss. And when Tiger's on, he plays a fade more than anything anyway because that's a little baby cut. Jack Nicklaus won 18 majors, by the way, playing that way. So I think that he can handle maybe that little The snap hook to the left, that's the one where you're like, what am I doing? I'm out of sync. My upper body and lower body are completely not together. For the most part, the swing looked tied in, and it was pain-free. It wasn't stressful. There weren't, a bunch of 12 to 10-foot putts for par. And I think that's the thing that he was happy about. He's just working off rust. He's working off rust right now.
I'd say he goes under par today.
I think so too.
I think he goes under par.
I think he got the fact that he finished that at level par. And there's 2 courses. I'm not sure. Brett, can we find out which?
The South.
Yeah, which course is he playing today? Can we find out which one?
He's playing the East.
He's playing the North course.
He's playing the North today.
It's a joke,
and I think
obviously.
I think that's the easier of the two 18s. If I'm not,
it is
mistaken.
supposed to be the easier one.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can go under
the
par.
The key
today.
here is make the cut, get 2 more days of golf, and get in that rhythm.
Yeah, and so it's just nice to see him back with an opportunity more than anything else.
Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Glad you're with us on Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, including our next guest.
The greatest receiver of all time.
In the history of the Super Bowl and in the playoffs, and really anywhere you want to put it.
We want him to say it.
Yes, we want him to do it, and hopefully he'll acknowledge and hold up that belt. Mike Vrabel, the Titans' new head coach, obviously played a lot of years with the Patriots in Kansas City. He's with us now. And, Mike, congratulations on being the new head coach of the Titans. But really, your biggest accomplishment is 12 catches for 12 touchdowns in your career twice in the Super Bowl, right?
Good morning, guys. I don't know about that, but the Super Bowl was it was pretty cool because it was just amazing situations, the way those plays happened. The Super Bowls will be the one that stick out, obviously.
I mean, come on, that's the greatest thing in the world. I mean, you're a linebacker. You went 10 for 10 in the regular season, then twice in Super Bowls, once in 38 and 39. Did they say to you at one point, look, we're going to keep doing this until you drop one, and then we're never going to do it again?
No, I mean, I was out there a lot more times than just 12 times. You know what I mean? I basically became the goal line. I knew Friday I would get the install. I'd walk in the morning. They'd hand me the sheet. I'd memorize the plays, and then I practiced it, and then we may not be on goal line that week, but it was always up for 4 or 5 years. And then I was out there. Other guys would catch touchdowns. We'd run the ball, not behind me, but we'd run the ball. And it just happened to be because I scored it. Somebody said every time he's in there, they're throwing the ball. It wasn't like that.
Okay, but
you were 100%. That's the best part.
I want to go even further.
I didn't even have to go that far. I don't even know how to tuck the ball away. All I had to do was catch it and then spike it. I don't even know how to tuck the ball away. I was interviewing guys about a running back's job, and I'm talking about ball security. I'm like, teach me ball security. I've never carried the ball. I've never taken a handoff.
Mike, don't sell yourself short because
embrace this.
Plenty of people have dropped the ball in that situation, and I want to take it a step further. In practice, whenever you practiced it, did you ever drop one in practice, or are you a perfect catch percentage?
Well, I think one time Rodney Harrison might have hog-tied me and
penalty,
horse collared me and caused a penalty, and I didn't catch it, but I don't remember. I just it was vicious when I would go down. We'd do a goal line 7-on-7, and they were like, "What side are you going on? You coming on our side, or you going to the offense?" And I'm like, "I'm going to offense," and they would try to destroy me, and it was fun. It was those practices, and that's what we're going to try to. We're going to try to create competition in our practices. We're going to try to have energy, just because that's what I know. Those guys, pros, competing at the highest level in practice against each other.
Well, just so you know, as Mike Vrabel, the Titans head coach, is with us now, we've been pumping this thing all along because I think that's one of the great stat lines in the history of sports, and we have a bunch of people tweeting us in other bizarrely interesting sports facts. It was all spurred by this conversation. I just want you to know that.
Good, but that's not going to help us win games, and that's not our players aren't going to care about that, and it was fun, and it was a part of my playing career.
Dude, you need to hold it over every receiver on that Titans team. I just want you to know that they have something. You've done something that they may never do. But let's go to the task at hand now, which is the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans. It was kind of a weird situation with what happened with Mike Mularkey. What's the one thing you think this team needs to get better at to go beyond where they did this past year, which was obviously to the divisional round?
Well, I think we're going to start by making sure that we're all aligned and that we're all heading in the same direction. I think it's important that there's a clear message, that I deliver a clear message, that the players are able to understand. I really don't know what went on here. Really, I don't care, because it's not, every year is a new year. And I think that change in the NFL happens every year. There's new players. There's going to be turnover. The rosters are going to change. There's going to be a draft. New coaches come in. New coaches leave. And our players need to understand that. But, we have some time, and I think that's the thing. I'm trying to reach out to all our players as I go down in this first few days of talking to them and letting them know how excited I am and what they can expect from me, and just trying to get to know them, asking about their families, where they are in the off season. Are they going to be in Nashville? Can they come in, swing by the office, whatever? Just getting to know the guys on my team.
From the standpoint of being a head coach, Mike, you started after your playing days, started coaching at Ohio State, obviously to the Texans, and then here as a head coach. I haven't been in that part of the world of the coaches. Do the high percent of coaches, even when they start out, have dreams of becoming a head coach? And obviously you did. And when for you was the realization, I can really I believe I can be a head coach in the NFL?
I think that's a great question. If every coach, did you as a player want to be a Pro Bowl player and make all pro when you made it to the NFL?
Yes.
Yeah, and so I think that as you coach and you do anything, you probably aspire to do it at the highest level and go as far as you can go, maximize whatever potential you have. I think I did try to do it. Every other player, every guy that plays football, my son, your son wanted to go to the NFL. Whether they make it there, whether they don't make it, I think that they are in their minds trying to get there. Things along the way probably make it happen or don't make it happen. Decisions that you make, the effort that you put in, instincts, all the timing, all these different things, these variables go into it. And so I don't know when that process was. Urban Meyer told me that I should prepare as I was the head coach of the defensive line at Ohio State. And I said, okay, I will do that, and I will start with 12 guys. I'll evaluate, I'll recruit, I'll develop, I'll install, I'll coach, and that was with 12 guys. And then you move on, and it's a larger group, and it's a larger group, and then at some point in time, now it's the entire team.
That's a great line by him, that's for sure. And as far as play today, listen, we now that you have to oversee the entire team, but we know the most important position is that quarterback position. And how it used to be in the league years ago was quarterback plays in college, and then they come and they have to fit into a system of the NFL. There seems to be a bit of a difference now, and I think Marcus Mariota is a great example of that, of taking the skills they have in college and kind of using some of the college into the pros as well. Have you seen that, and is that something you obviously would like to keep going instead of making the round peg fit in the square hole, kind of bring college into it as well?
I've always and will continue to be about players are more important than plays. And whether we're doing it defensively, whether we're doing it offensively, on special teams, we're going to do things that our players are good at. Like, it doesn't make any sense to do things that our players aren't comfortable doing. So we're going to try to we're going to get the best coaches to take our players and their skill set and do things that they do well. And then we're going to have to try to fix and change the things that they don't do well, and then come up with a game plan every week to help us win.
Mike Vrabel with us, the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans. And Mike, you made some interesting comments at your introductory press conference.
Yeah.
Basically, we all knew it. I mean, it's all true.
Yeah, it is.
But you said, our farm system is college football. Nick Saban, we pay him $10 million. Yeah. Urban Meyer, we pay him to be our farm system and develop players. I'm just curious.
That's a huge compliment. I've learned so much from those guys. Been able to meet with Nick and go over there and get to know Nick, and obviously work for Urban. And I know the types of players. We have this conversation all the time. When you get players from those programs, those types of programs, they're ready to play. I mean, these guys have been prepared like pros. And then we take players from other schools, and we have to work and develop and teach them a routine, teach them how to take care of their body, teach them how to lift, teach them how to get training, teach them how to study tape and all these things. And then some other programs, and these guys are pros. They come in and they're pro football players, and they're ready to go. Yeah, they need some fine tuning and continue to get better. But that was a huge compliment for those guys. I mean, they are at the top of their field in what they do.
Did either one of them say, "Hey, hold up, I don't work for you, Braves. What's going on here?"
No, but I think that they would know that was a compliment, that the players that they are putting out into the National Football League are highly successful players. The players that they bring into their program, develop, and then send on to the next level are very good players.
Mike Vrabel with us, the Titans head coach.
I was just curious, how did you guys, I guess, take it? Or
when we heard it, we said, "Wow, he said something that's very true that nobody's ever said
before." Right,
and then we kind of chuckled and said, "Oh, I wonder how those coaches are going to take that."
We're all working for Mike, is what we said. No, but it was just
when I use the term "we," I just mean that's a collective term. The Ohio State clearly pays Urban Meyer, and he does a great job, and he's compensated, for the product that he puts on the field and the amount of guys that graduate. I mean, we're trying to get as many guys that have graduated college that are great football players that can help us win.
Well,
you were right with what you said.
No question about that. And Mike, as you're here with us, I've used you as an example just to try and put people's heads around what we're seeing from the Patriots we'll never see again. Okay, you are now a head coach in the NFL. The last time the Eagles played the Patriots in a Super Bowl, Super Bowl 39, you caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady. You're now a head coach. Brewski's working with me here on NFL Live, and Brady is still slinging it. I mean,
I know, it's amazing.
Can you try and people understand? This will never happen again. What we're seeing with Brady and Belichick, this kind of longevity from those two together, it's statistically impossible. This will never happen again in the history of football.
Well, it's clearly going to give Marcus and I something to shoot for, isn't it?
True.
But it's impressive, and I was lucky enough to be a part of a lot of new players in Bill's second year in New England, and then watching Tom Brady's development to where he is now and how he's been able to sustain the success over a long period of time is impressive. The consistency in which they do things is clearly a benchmark for everybody that coaches and plays in this league.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you being with us. Best of luck with the Titans, and I'm looking forward to seeing you give it to the receivers how good your stats are, and B, looking for the linebacker that will be Mike Vrabel.
No, coaching up, it's Watt.
Yeah,
J.J. Watt.
Well,
no, we did it for the Texans.
Well,
Didn't you help him?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if he's, I'll go in the locker room and look for him, but I don't think he's in there.
Yeah, but did you help him out at all when you were in Houston?
Well, yeah. I mean, when he's there, I help any player on our team that I can help and make better. I try to do, and
yeah, but
especially on the goal line, I said, "Hey, here's what you do. It's like a pass rush. Get past that guy as fast as you can and look for the ball. Don't overcoach athletes." I said, "Just make that guy miss and then run away from him and hopefully catch the ball."
Yeah, but he dropped one. Yeah, so you still got it on him, Mike. we appreciate you being with us. Best of luck, man.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
We roll on Golic and Wingo. We're reading tweets. By the way, Todd McShay tweeted in. I love how real Vrabel was on Golic and Wingo this AM. And we love Todd listening and watching the show. And Todd, just to know, you're going to be on almost every day between now and the draft.
Yeah, there you
congratulations.
Go. I really do. You think? And I think I agree with him. If you're a ball player, you want to reach the height from a team wise. You want to win a Super Bowl, and personally, you want to make the Pro Bowl. You want to be the best in your business. So I wonder, does that mean everybody wants to be a head coach? If you are decide you want to go into the coaching world, do you eventually want to be a head coach at the highest level in the NFL, or I guess even in college, whatever? Is that what you aspire to be, is the head coach?
Well, I think that's true. But I think that there's also something to be said for knowing what you are, knowing what you aren't.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of guys that I think eventually they're going to get a head coaching offer and they take it, but some guys are just better at being coordinators.
But I guess I wonder, do you start out, when you start out your coaching career, you say, I want this eventually to lead me to be a head coach, and then as you're an assistant coach, maybe you get that realization, you know what? maybe I don't want that. Maybe I'm good like here just to be a coordinator or a position coach, and I'm fine there. It's an interesting thought to me on where coaches feel that way, if they want to at least try it and then maybe get to that level, try it and say, okay, if it didn't work out for them, okay, this wasn't for me. I'll go back to being that coordinator or position coach.
It is, but I think the most important thing is everyone feels like they have to be this sometimes. What I loved about Vrabel was that he clearly had a plan from the first job he got as an assistant under Urban Meyer at Ohio State. Once Urban said, play this and coach this up like you are the head coach of the defensive line.
Right, I did like that.
And it seemed like to Mike, that put him in the mindset, okay, if this is the way it has to be, I get it now, and that can lead me to this. That was the most impressive thing I took away from Vrabel, because, look, a lot of the problems for the Tennessee Titans are on the offensive side of the ball.
Yes.
And his specialty is, well, besides catching touchdowns, is really on the defensive side. So I think Vrabel is going to be really good at finding guys and giving them the same instructions that Urban Meyer gave him.
So, again, 12 passes thrown to him, 12 catches, 12 touchdowns, 2 in Super Bowl. Statistical anomalies, we're looking for them. There's 2 out there that we're looking to find out about. I got a couple of tweets. Somebody said Brett Favre's first completed pass to himself as a Packer was to himself, like a batted ball back to himself.
Also very good.
Okay? And the other one, how about this one? Somebody said that a human being can beat an Indy car in the first 30 feet of a race, which would be 10 yards.
I don't know.
So could a human coming out of a start go 10 yards if the Indy car starts at the same time? I don't know the pickup of an Indy car, but for 10 yards.
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
There may be a human. I know I couldn't do it. I can promise you that. I mean, there may be
That's
a
interesting
human.
to me.
Get Usain Bolt out there. See if that'll work.
He usually has bad starts.
That's
He's
true.
not a great starter.
You're exactly right. Rudy Gatlin usually has better starts.
Better starts, and then
who is it? Justin Gatlin.
Gatlin. And then, what's his name goes running by you and just kind of smiles.
And just waves.
Yeah.
Coming up, who's smiling right now?
Who's
a
that?
Hall of Famer whose son's playing in a second straight Super Bowl. He'll join us next.
About.
Stay with us. Golic and Wingo. Woo! John Tyler.
Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Working our way through a Friday morning. Glad you're with us on Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. By the way, call us in too at 860-506-5505. And leave your hashtag Real Golic question. Once again, 860-506-5505.
Got a new guy here, and I hate him.
Yeah, what's going on there?
It's unbelievable.
What happened?
Got this new dude here, Carmine. He's, 22?
Yeah,
22 years
young.
old. Looks like he's 12. I think he glued on this chin strap beard that he's got. So, Carmine, how you doing? Go ahead and say hi to everybody.
Good.
All right. So Carmine, tell everybody why I don't like you.
So I know Mike Golic Jr. played at Notre Dame, but I did not know Mike Sr. played in the NFL.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
I don't
It's
even.
not like he was on the practice squad for 2 years. He was a part of arguably one of the greatest defensive lines in the history of the game.
When were you born?
1995.
Don't go there. It's not worth it.
1995, a year after my youngest in Sydney.
Yeah.
And you had no idea that I played in the NFL. What did you know about me when you knew you were going to come work on this show? Oh, Mike Golic, Trey Wingo. Mike Golic, I know this about him.
Great radio host.
Well, way to save it. Way to save it. By the way, did you know I played? Do you know anything about my playing career?
Golf doesn't count.
I never played.
Looking at me at all, and I don't think I look like this, but did you think I was an athlete at all and wonder if I played a sport? Push a button. Try it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew you were an athlete.
But you had no idea what I did.
No.
Get out. Just get out.
Can we seamlessly move on to something else?
Holy smokes! There's something in.
You know what I bet?
I want to. There's something about his face. I want to punch him right in the face.
Well, please don't, because then I'd be looking for a new co-host. So that would be bad.
I bet nobody said that about Howie Long.
No one did.
Boy, I don't know. He played in the NFL.
Everyone knows. I don't know. He might not have. You always give me a thumbs up. He knew Howie Long played.
Oh, yeah.
Well, congratulations. Good for you. Good for you. And,
wow.
And on that seamless introduction.
What a lasting impression.
As this hour of Golic and Wingo is brought to you by La Quinta Inns and Suites, and they may be regretting that at this point. Book at LQ.com and win at business. We're winning, but no one is winning more than our next guest. Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Famer Howie Long joins us now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Howie, first of all, thanks for being with us. One of the shots of the weekend last week was you at Philadelphia for the NFC Championship game, because it was a game on Fox. There, watching your son go to a second straight Super Bowl, and afterwards holding your grandson Waylon. We're talking about winning. I'm not sure it gets much better than that.
No, it doesn't get any better. As Mike, as you know, the grandkids are. It's pretty amazing to have him on the field, and Kyle was there, and I think he's 4 weeks off neck surgery, so it was nice to have him there, and Diane and Megan, and to watch the whole thing unfold, because last year I wasn't at the AFC Championship game because we obviously do the NFC Championship game, and to have the opportunity to be at the championship game, which obviously leads them to the Super Bowl, was pretty special. And Waylon, he's a ham. He's a lot of fun. He's built like a midget wrestler. Got good legs, knee bender.
You're breaking him down already?
Well, we're combining the grandkids now.
Amen to that. Amen to that. It's all about leg strength and core nowadays. How something now you had the good looking body while you were playing, but the core wasn't as important when we were all playing as it seems to be nowadays.
I thought the core was somewhere in the center of the earth. Yeah. And the combine, I think, it was kind of like more of a regional combine when I came out, and it was kind of like, hey, how do you feel? They gave you the sign of the cross, and they said, move on. That was really it. And I remember, and I won't say the player, but one of the combines went to another defensive lineman that was coming out. It was me, a kid from Harvard, and this other defensive lineman, and they show you a kind of a big screen, and there's a lot of images on there. Then they take the images off, and they put them back on, and you're supposed to tell them what was missing. And the defensive lineman never looked up. He just looked at the kid from Harvard and the kid and me, and never looked up at the screen and just copied.
That's smart.
Yes.
You got to say something to that. That's smart.
Shows, that's able to adapt.
Well, survive in advance, right? That's the whole part.
I would agree. So I don't know how much of this will turn into actual NFL football talk. So 2 kids again. You have your son Chris with the Patriots last year, winning a Super Bowl, in the Super Bowl again. Your son Kyle had a frustrating year this year, no doubt about it, with the injuries and had surgery in the offseason. And obviously you a Hall of Fame player. If you could only have one Super Bowl ring between all of you, would you want it to hold over your kids, or would you want one of your kids to have it and then they can be the smack talker?
Oh, God, no, that's easy. I've been asked similar questions a number of times, and I think, the enjoyment that I got out of watching New England make that comeback in the Super Bowl last year versus Atlanta, and, particularly after Chris playing 8 years in St. Louis and, 3 games a year winning and running out of things to say on Sunday night, totally eclipses anything that, I could have, any enjoyment that I got out of. And I've said this many times. I mean, for me, it was kind of a tortured existence while I was playing. I never enjoyed the moment because it was always on to the next moment. Played well on Sunday. I've got to be great on Wednesday. So you're on to the next thing. But to watch your kids have fun and be successful is everything.
Well, congratulations, because you're certainly doing that. As we said, you have Kyle now doing well with the Bears, and obviously Chris is playing in his second straight Super Bowl. And Howie Long with us, Pro Football Hall of Famer. And to that point, I always thought watching those Rams teams play, because I remember interviewing Chris before he was drafted for NFL Live, and I talked to him, and he said, have you thought about where you want to go? And he's like, honestly, Trey, I'm just hoping I get drafted. I'm like, trust me, you're getting drafted.
Yeah.
He was the second overall pick in the draft. But I thought he was always he and Steven Jackson, to me, always stood out on those Rams teams, Howie, because they were pros. No matter
Steven Jackson.
No matter what the outcome was, you could always see that Chris and Steven were giving maximum effort. And that's all you can ask in a situation, because you never know whether or not it's going to go your way.
Well, it was one of the things that I always preached, and it was taught to me by Earl Leggett, same guy that brought up Michael Strahan, great defensive line coach, was your first play should look like your 80th play, your 80th play should look like your first play. And regardless of what's happening around you, and in many ways I've always said, when I look at film, I don't want to see how you're playing when you're up. I want to see how you're playing when you're down. And they've gone 2-3 tight ends, and they're running the clock out. Who's jumping around blocks? Who's mailing it in? Who's bringing it? To me, those are in many ways the moments that kind of define you. It's fun to watch. He's a guy that in Chris that has always been that way. He was that way in college. He's been that way in professional football. He's a great teammate. He's someone who I think brings a lot of different qualities to your locker room, both in his play on the field and in the locker room and in the community. And as parents, you're always, I've said this a number of times, you hope that you're living the kind of life that your children will, be inspired by, or, and you're teaching. And if you're fortunate, it comes full circle and your son ends up becoming the teacher and inspiring you. And that's certainly the case in this situation.
Howie Long joining us, Pro Football Hall of Famer in 2000. We're talking about his son, Chris Long, getting ready to play in his second Super Bowl again. Another son, Kyle, who plays offensive line for the Chicago Bears. You mentioned that the conversations on Sunday night can get difficult when he was with the Rams. Talk about your son's the personalities. Kyle basically seems to he'll throw a punch no matter what in any situation. So,
Mike, I'm telling you, I could have used. You're right. Could have used Kyle Sunday night if he were healthy. I mean, he's got another surgery on Tuesday, 2 surgeries on Tuesday. Sunday night, and you'll appreciate this, Mike, because we're coming back from Chris's. We're at the stadium, and we were down there at their after kind of function down there. The Eagles have that our team's never had. There was never kind of a party afterwards,
right?
In the building, and so we're down there. We're enjoying ourselves. We go back to his apartment, hang out for a little bit, and it's about 1:30, and we head back to our hotel, or so we thought. And Philly was in total chaos. Broad Street was just a mass of humanity, and all the roads are blocked, and we can't get back to our hotel. So I asked a cop. I said, we're staying at this hotel, and we can't get there. And he said, your best bet is to park here at the Westin and walk. So we park at the Westin. It's 2:00 in the morning now. And it's Purge Championship night. I mean, there's people on roofs of cars. My head's on a swivel. I've got my bag on my back, and I'm Diane, slide over here. Diane, slide over there. Depending upon what's coming down the sidewalk. But I'm thinking, God, I could really use Kyle here. Because Kyle has a defensive personality, Mike.
Yeah,
there's no question. He sometimes when the switch gets flipped, he's hard to bring back.
So listen, he no doubt he is, and that certainly can help you on a football field. Where I was going with that was you've had to listen. They've struggled in Chicago as well. So how did the conversations go with Chris after games in St. Louis, where the struggle has a different personality in Kyle when they're struggling, and you're trying to be the dad, as we all are, and talking to our athlete sons after tough losses on how to deal with them?
Well, I think you're always you're always pushing it towards it's going to get better. This is going to happen, or next week is going to be better. The offense is going to come around because to be honest, there were a lot of really good defenses in those years with the Rams that were kind of wasted. And maybe next year it's that kind of a conversation. And in Chicago, I think it's number one, it's a great city and it's a great organization, and it's a place that if you win, it's special. It's like Philadelphia, Philly's like that. Gosh, how excited is Philadelphia right now? Chicago is a unique place, and I think they're excited about the changes, and it's never good when a coach is fired or has to move on, but change is part of our game, and it happens every year, and it's certainly happening there. But I think there's an excitement in the building right now, and I like the hire. The offensive line coach is
phenomenal.
Is a guy that I know you're familiar with, and who I respect a great deal. I don't know him, but players are a reflection of their coach, and the players that he pumps out are really fundamentally sound players who play the game the way it's supposed to be played. So I'm excited for Kyle.
Howie, let me just say, you will love Harry Heastan. Yeah. He will get the absolute most out of your son, Kyle. And let me tell you, he's going to love the way Kyle plays. That is a marriage made in heaven. So you can definitely rest easy knowing that your son's going to get some good coach. I'm excited to see that O-line play. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, some of the hiring that Matt Nagy has done, Mark Helfrich is the offensive coordinator, really interesting.
Yeah, and Kyle was with him at Oregon, and I'm familiar with him. He's really smart guy, and a guy that I think will this young quarterback. It's so hard. I think it's the position. We throw the ball more now than ever at every level. Pop Warner, high school, college, but we're doing it all out of spread, and it's all off a wristband, and there's limited reads in the route trees and all without getting too technical. But I think you saw a lot of the qualities that you want in a young quarterback last year in this kid, and I think it's exciting, and I think he's going to make a big jump in his second year, and as they put pieces around him, because quite frankly, with injuries and everything else, he just didn't have a lot of places to go with the ball.
No, there were limited options at receiver, obviously, and they're trying to fix that and hopefully get Kevin White healthy, who hasn't been healthy since he was drafted. So Howie Long with us, Pro Football Hall of Famer. That's your son, Kyle. Looking forward to 2018. There is still unfinished business for Chris. And we've been sort of doing this sort of weird statistic thing all day, Howie, because of Mike Vrabel, who in his career, a linebacker, 12 catches, 12 touchdowns, twice in the Super Bowl. But your son now, Chris.
Mike, did you catch one, Mike?
I had 3 interceptions. And
that young person, whatever he does there, pressing the buttons over there.
Carmine.
It's black and white, but pull it up. My man was he was a monster with the Eagles.
Yeah,
in the classic green.
Yeah, Carmine's going to get punched in the face, Howie. That's going to happen.
He may not be here on Monday.
Mike, I don't think we can punch Carmine in the face.
No, I could just say it, but I won't really do it. Carmine, you're safe.
If it is, it'll be me and Mike Golic Jr. on Monday.
Mike, I know you still have thoughts like this. I remember it was. We're in the green room at the Super Bowl, and this is a funny story that you'll appreciate. And the Patriots are down 28-3, and I had, not that Chris makes his own decisions, but I'm certainly, when he made the decision to pick a team after the Rams, I'm kind of like, in New England they've been to this many, division championships and conference championships and Super Bowls, and it was Atlanta, it was Dallas, it was Washington, and pushed him in that direction. And, if there's anything I can help, I can't help him with his biology homework in high school or college, but I could certainly help you with football. And here they are down 28-3, and I'm the worst dad in the world. and Usher, who's the nicest guy in the world, is in our green room with all his Atlanta stuff on, jumping up and down and screaming. And in my mind, Mike, I'm punching him in the face. But as you know, that's where it has to stay now.
Yep.
Well, if that counts, Howie, he's mentally punched me about 30 times
yes,
in 2 months. Howie, listen, we talked about these odd stats with Vrabel, but your son Chris has a chance to join the most exclusive club in Super Bowl history, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this. There's only two players in the Super Bowl era that can say they've won back-to-back Super Bowls for two different teams. Ken Norton did it when he won one for the Cowboys and then moved to the 49ers in free agency and won one. And then that same year he won one with the 49ers. Deion Sanders won one with the Niners, and that year went to the Cowboys and the next year and won it there. So that's only happened twice, and now both Chris and LeGarrette Blount have a chance on Sunday to double that club, that exclusive club, from 2 people to 4.
I kid them. I mean, both LeGarrette, who I like a lot, obviously, and very familiar with him from New England. But you look at Chris's record and LeGarrette's record over the last 2 seasons, it's made up for a lot of those losing years with the Rams. Hey, look, let's not. It's early yet. There's a lot of game to be played, and New England is their ability to prepare and force you to do the things that you don't like to do and get the matchups they want to get and to play 60 minutes and beyond is well documented. Their ability to change week to week, quarter to quarter, series to series is well documented. They're interchangeable. The I can be you, you can be me. We're all interchangeable. Therefore, with very few exceptions, we're all replaceable. And I think the way they play on offense is it's tough. You sit down and you look at film and you try to kind of get a beat on something you can hang your hat on, but they can change. Look at the stable of running backs and Gronk and Amendola, and Gronk goes down and Amendola plays big. They have guys they're as well prepared a football team as you could possibly imagine. And I'm partial, and I've always said this. I think Bill is the best coach that's ever coached the game, and I think he's a unique guy because I think he can coach every position on the field, and he wears a lot of hats there, and he's going to lose a lot of staff members, but that's what you're up against, and I think Chris knows that, and LeGarrette knows that. And I'm sure the Eagles know that it's going to take a really extraordinary effort to try to beat this football team.
Talking to Howie Long, Hall of Famer, 8-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ with the L.A. Raiders in '83. And speaking of the Raiders, your thoughts, we'd be remiss to not ask you, of John Gruden taking over the Raiders again and their impending move to Las Vegas.
Well, I was there at the press conference, and I spoke to him the Monday night in Philadelphia after the game, and just said, are you really interested? And I know there was a lot of speculation that something was already done, and it wasn't. I can tell you that firsthand. But he was reluctant to talk about it because coaches are still in positions, and moves hadn't been made yet. But when I walked into that building for the press conference, the level of energy, it was like a 4.9 on the Richter scale. I mean, the level of intensity in the entire building, and I think the expectation that everyone in the building, from top to bottom, has that same level of enthusiasm. It was really remarkable, and I think it's an energy that I think will get the most out of this football team. And in terms of the move, I started out in Oakland. I think the Oakland fans are a remarkable fan base, and even when the team moved to L.A., people were on that whatever flight it was, Southwest or whatever, down to L.A. every week and going to the games. They're a remarkable fan base, and I think for anyone who's ever played in Oakland, I think you would like to see the team there. Unfortunately, there just wasn't a financial way around that, and I think the move to Vegas, is a game changer. The stadium, having gone out there for the press conference and kind of the groundbreaking, and there's a lot of energy there. So I think, between the hiring of Gruden and the move to Vegas, and the future looks really bright.
Well, look, the future does look bright for the Raiders in Vegas, and we'll see what happens there with the hiring of Gruden. We loved him when he was here, and I won't say enjoy this coming Sunday because I know it can be difficult to watch. You know, for what next Sunday, obviously this is the Pro Bowl, but just try and manage the experience with Chris going for a second straight Super Bowl against the Patriots. Howie, we appreciate you being with us this morning. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Howie. See you out there.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and thank you for not punching me in the face.
Yeah. I want to ask him too. So much we talked about to him there. I wanted to ask him because I want to be called Pappy when I'm a grandfather. I wonder what he's called.
Howie.
No. You think that's what his grandkids call him? Howie?
No, I don't know.
Grandpa Howie?
Grandpa Howie sounds good.
Pappy? I want to be I want to be Pappy.
Why Pappy?
Pappy, I don't know. I like something about Pappy.
I think you should have a pipe and a big straw hat if you're Pappy.
Okay, I'll do that.
Sitting on a front porch somewhere.
Pipe. Right.
Coming up, we'll get back on the comeback trail. Plus, do you know the saying, let's throw it up on the wall and see what sticks? Mm-hmm. Something stuck, and it's unbelievable.
Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
Real quickly, before we get to Bob Harig and talk about
because the Bengals are playing.
Yes,
I want to be clear.
They are. I asked the all-important question, what is Howie called as a grandfather? Because I'm not a grandfather yet, though Jake and Jenny just got married and soon to have kids, I'm sure. I'm going to be called Pappy. So I mentioned that at the end. I wonder what Howie is called. Howie was nice enough to call back. He's called Paw Paw.
See, I like Paw Paw better.
Paw Paw.
Pappy, I think you have
What's
to be.
What's the matter with Pappy?
Nothing's wrong with it, but I think if you're being called Pappy, you have to be born south of the Mason-Dixon.
Why?
That's a Southern thing. Get old Pappy up here.
I want to be Pappy.
See, to me, if you're Pappy, you have to have a pipe, overalls with no shirt on, straw hat, and a banjo.
You know what you're doing now? Yeah. You're stereotyping.
What?
What do you want to be called?
Trey.
You want your grandkid to call you Trey?
I can't even think about that possibility at this point. Just can't even go there. Can't even go there. You know who else doesn't want to talk about me having grandkids?
Who's that?
Bob Harig.
I don't think so.
ESPN golf analyst joins us now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Bob, save us from ourselves.
Yeah.
First and foremost, your initial reaction on Tiger Woods' even par round of 72, his first PGA Tour round basically in a year.
Well, hey, good morning, guys. I think it's all about context. If you just look at 72 and 7 shots back and didn't make a putt outside of 4 feet and birdied just one par 5, you'd say that's not real great. But when you put it in the context of his first PGA Tour event in a year and all that he's been through, the back surgery and 4 back surgeries, the latest of spinal fusion, you know, I think it's really good. I mean, I think it's a thing to build on for him. And you know, he's put himself in position to make the cut. He gets to play the slightly easier North Course this morning. And, you know, I think it's good as a good first step back. And you know, what really should be viewed as a longer term comeback.
And along those lines, Bob, we've seen a few of his comebacks and expectations along with them. Does he really seem to have less expectations this time than the other times?
It's interesting how he has handled that. You know, so many times he has, you know, just gone with the stock answer, I'm here to win. And now he's kind of, you know, mellowed on that. He's admitted that, you know, that he's got to give himself a little bit more time. He's looking at the big picture and recognizing that, you know, I haven't competed. I haven't played. You know, I haven't been out here against all these guys who've been playing tournament after tournament. But, you know, deep down, when he gets inside the ropes, you see his competitiveness. He gets mad when he misses a shot. You know, I think there's an inner expectation from himself that he can hang in there with these guys. But I think when he steps away from it, he recognizes that, hey, look, you know, you can't just throw yourself back into this after everything that he's been through and be competing against the best in the world day in and day out.
Bob Harig with us, our ESPN golf analyst, talking about Tiger Woods' return to the PGA Tour. He tees off at 12:30 today Eastern time from the 10th tee at the North Course, and Bob alluded to it. That's the slightly easier course of the two. The one thing I noticed in watching his round yesterday, Bob, the two-way miss wasn't there, and that's the death to any golfer. It seemed like the miss was really popped out a little bit to the right, and quite frankly, when Tiger's been playing his best, Bob, he's worked that little fade to his advantage.
No question. Now, he did miss left off the first tee yesterday.
Well, that first tee has vexed him forever.
It's true. I mean, the great stat. He double bogeyed the first hole here 3 times when he won the U.S. Open in 2008. I mean, it's amazing to think he could overcome that. I just attribute that to nerves. Tiger's always had trouble with the first tee shot for some reason, no matter when. But you're right. Missing it to the right, if that's going to be his miss, you take the left side of the course out of play. He was a little sketchy the first 5 holes, and then he got up on the 6th tee, which is a par 5, and it's dogleg right, and he just smashed a fade down there around the corner, and had 230 in and hit a 4-iron onto the front of the green on a par 5. I mean, that was Tiger. That was him. That was the jaw-dropping tee shot and a really good iron shot to the green. And the shot that he hit, that he nearly holed out. Patrick Reed said, I hit a 6-iron and he hit a 6-iron, but his went way up into the air. His came off like a pitching wedge. So he still has that ability to awe people, even his fellow competitors, which is still that's the great thing about seeing him hit those kind of shots.
So, Bob, as we hear parts of interviews, and all the talk has been about his game, is there, and I think in a way that's a good thing because at least we don't see it, but you're there for the whole thing. Is there talk about how he feels? How is his back? And how is his health? Is that been talked about? Because it all seems to be just about the way he's playing, which, as I said, is a good thing unless there is talk about his health.
Well, I think it's in the back of everybody's mind, right? Could this go at any time? And I think what we're learning is, Tiger's not been one to be all that forthcoming through all of this. When he had the first 3 surgeries, they were in essence a Band-Aid. He was trying to fix it and hope that it was going to be okay. It didn't take care of the nerve issues that he was experiencing, and he more or less has admitted, he didn't quite know when it was going to come. He wasn't sure if on the downswing he might be in pain or on the follow-through. Now that he's had this fusion, he says the pain's gone. I don't feel the pain anymore. It's just not there. It's now. Are there aches and pains? Is there recovery? Is there prep that he has to go shoot through? Absolutely. But I think you can tell by the power of his swing and the way he walks. I mean, I went to Dubai last year when he withdrew from that. The last official event he played, he withdrew after 1 round, and he looked 20 years older, the way he walked around that course. It was so difficult to even see the way he approached that. He was walking so gingerly and he was being so careful. And some of the shots out of the rough, you could tell he wasn't going after them. And sure enough, it turned out it just was too much for him to deal with. And he would have to try to recover after playing golf and give himself time to let it calm down and then build back up, instead of practicing and preparing. I think now he's able to do the latter a lot more, and that's going to determine a lot if he's able to be successful.
Bob Harig with us, our golf analyst, talking about Tiger's return. And you're right. Just look at what Jason Day looked like laboring around that course yesterday with his back injury as opposed to Tiger. We certainly hope that continues. Tiger tees off at 12:30 Eastern time on his second round. See if he can get under par and stick around for the weekend as he's 7 strokes behind the leaders right now. Bob, we appreciate you getting up early. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Golic and Wingo here with you. We had a couple of grilled Golics.
We did.
And get to. You want to get to some of those?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
All right, this one is from Greg. Are you a good steak guy or a good barbecue guy?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to lean, I've always been a steak guy growing up, but I think I would lean more toward barbecue right now.
Lean toward barbecue?
Yeah, I would lean toward barbecue right now,
okay.
Yes.
All right, well, that's the end of that because we'll end it on a food note.
All right.
We've been talking about this, throw it up on the wall and see what happens.
Yeah.
How about this? U.S. Olympic gold medalist Gil Roberts, a member of the 4x400 relay team that won gold in the 2016 Rio Olympics, was suspended in May of 2017 for a positive drug test.
Oh, boy.
That decision was reversed by an arbitrator in July of 2017. On Thursday, after hearing an appeal by WADA, the court arbitration for sport agreed with the arbitrator. And you want to know how it was overturned? You want to tell people?
Here you go.
Yeah.
So his girlfriend was in India for a few weeks before the March test and came down with a sinus infection. A local chemist there directed her to take one capsule of this drug
in India.
Take this one capsule per day, one per day for a period of 2 weeks. The woman, Alex Salazar, continued to take the medicine when she returned to the U.S., breaking the capsule apart and pouring the contents into her mouth and then using water to wash it down. So basically what Roberts is saying that is soon after she did it that one time, he was kissing her passionately.
Good for him.
They even say in the article here, I'll just say it, with tongue. That would be passionately. And because of that, that's why he ingested this banned substance, which is considered a masking agent, and has tested positive for that. And it worked. It was reversed.
Hey, good for him.
How about that?
Literally on every level. Good for him.
Good for him. She took medicine. He kissed her passionately, tested positive, and got it reversed. This has happened a couple other times.
Amazingly, when I saw the story, I thought of another time it had happened. It happened to a tennis player, a Frenchman named Richard Gasquet, or Richard, as they call him.
Richard Gasquet, is it? I don't know.
Yes, he tested positive for cocaine once, I think in 2009, and he convinced the independent anti-doping tribunal that he ingested cocaine with a kiss with a woman he had just met. The tribunal panel of 3 lawyers said Gasquet consumed no more than a grain of salt of the drug, and a long ban would be an injustice in a case where there was, quote, unusual to the point of probably being unique, end quote.
Another athlete, Canadian pole vaulter Sean Barber, tested positive for cocaine before the Rio Olympics following a tryst with a woman he met on Craigslist. He was allowed to compete. Brazil said it was after it determined he inadvertently ingested trace amounts of a banned substance through kissing. You athletes, be careful who you're making out with.
Well, not only that, So,
I mean, seriously?
So, you know, we also be careful, Mike? We have to be careful of what we don't want to become. Apparently, we both did that on this show.
How?
Well, apparently it started with me. This pick tells you what's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
Next year, LeBron James is a Celtic. Let's just be clear about that.
Hot take.
That's exactly. I'm channeling my Stu guys.
Hot take.
That's what's happening. I mean, just embrace it. You're telling me that you don't think LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, you don't think that team's the best team in the East? He is telling you what he's going to do. LeBron James will be a Celtic next year.
The hot take. I like that.
That, of course, was Wes talking when he picked Kyrie Irving.
Pick Kyrie for his team. That is a hot take. LeBron in green next year for the Celtics.
I may have overstepped my bounds.
You think? But if you think about it, they have a ton of 6'7", 6'8" guys. That's for sure.
I immediately regret this decision.
No, that was a great hot take.
Oh, by the way, people are tweeting in. Hey, I've seen LeBron buying a house in Cape Cod.
Oh, boy.
He's in Back Bay.
Yes. Yes. Let's stick with it until someone way smarter than us debunks it somehow. And then
Very easily.
That's when I'll say, well, that was Trey's idea.
Thank you. So I'm not a hot taker, and then I went with the greatest, stupidest hot take of all time.
Did.
And then you did this.
What did I do?
You baited Dan Quinn into a Super Bowl guarantee.
For us as a team, that's a long way from now. So we got plenty of work to do, guys. And I hope like hell we are talking this year, a year from now, this week, and we can talk about how cool that would be.
Wow, Dan, did you just guarantee that you guys will be there?
Look at you. Stop it. See what he's doing? You think he's the normal former player he gets. Sorry. He's the radio hot taker in this group, Dan. I'm with you. I'm trying to keep this thing on track. See, so there you go. You're supposed to be the player that does X's and O's and gets what coaches are talking about.
Yeah, I went for the guarantee.
You tried to prod him into a guarantee.
I did.
So we both become the things we hate.
We did.
And it's only 2 months in.
Not going to lie. I hate you more.
I hate me more.
Yeah.
So that is the popular opinion.
It was like he hate me for the XFL when they're not allowed to put nicknames on their back.
Which may not happen, by the way. So that's the other thing. We should have put this up on the poll. What do you think the odds are that the XFL actually takes off in 2 years?
Yeah.
Really? What do you think? He said in 2020 they don't have cities, they don't have a TV contract. All we know is he says there's going to be more. It's going to be more family friendly.
Right.
It's going to be safer and it's going to be shorter, with no details of any of that.
The one thing I brought up and then my son brought up are on different sides, and I get them both. I like the fact that it's 2 years out, so you can do a little more planning than 1 year for the original XFL. So it kind of hurried. 1 year seems like a long time, but when you're putting all that together, it felt rushed. With 2 years, you have a little more time. And to Mike's point, and he's right, in today's society of what's hot right now, what's going on right now, this is 2 years out of sight, out of mind. Where are we in the sports world 2 years from now? So for me personally, I think there is a greater percentage that it never gets off the ground rather than it gets off the ground and becomes successful.
A lot of obstacles to hear. I think you may be right. You also agrees? That guy who knew your son played football, but you didn't. Is he still
Carmine?
There?
Carmine's last day.
Yeah.
Last day working on Mike and Mike.
Carmine's been a good run. Just want you to know
22 years old, knew Mike played for Notre Dame, did not know.
Wait, did you just say Mike and Mike?
No.
Did I say Mike and Mike?
No.
Who said it? He did.
He
You
definitely
did.
said Mike and Mike.
That's a fine. That's a
Didn't say
fine.
Mike and
Ladies
Mike,
and gentlemen, Mike Golic said Mike and Mike. Thanks for watching.
I didn't hear Mike and Mike at
No,
all.
you did. You did. Yeah, you did.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Disclaimer, you will not be transported to the top of the world. In the unlikely event you find yourself at the Arctic Circle, seek shelter from the elements immediately to avoid frostbite and or hypothermia. Geico will not be responsible if you find yourself in a cave or crevasse with a lonely abominable snowman, who in all likelihood will force you to play games including but not limited to Go Fish, charades, Chinese checkers, or his personal favorite, Red Rover, send Yeti on over. Geico is not liable for any damages, either physical or emotional.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.